Hi, if you want to see more, you can see episodes of Karen's Carrots on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe. Good evening, everyone. And once again, welcome to Karen's Carrots. We're so glad to be here tonight as we are weekly, Thursdays at 7 p.m. We bring you some of the best in all areas, in all fields, and they're best in a lot of ways. They're best in their subject matter, they're best in who they are, and they're best because they take the time to come on Karen's Carrots to share with you something of value. And tonight, we have a young lady gracing our stage. We're so glad she's here. This is Ms. LaVonne A. Weaver. And what I love most about her title, it's the best title you can have, CEO, which in this case is Chief Encouragement Officer. Isn't that a wonderful person you'd like to work with and be around? Ms. Weaver teach compassionate professionals how to manage stress, reduce overwhelm, and create better experiences from moment to moment. As an educator, artist, and author, she creates for change. Life is like a classroom, and our experiences fit together to create a beautiful masterpiece. Isn't that wonderful? Please join me and welcome Ms. LaVonne Weaver. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you so much, Karen. It is truly an honor.
Oh my, it's my honor, really. I'm so glad you were available and had the time. Um, Ms. LaVonne Weaver, I say, just completely embodies positivity. In every space I've witnessed her company, she exudes positive vibes, uplifting vibes, motivating vibes. Tell us how this all came to be. And I want everybody to hear what you're saying. So go for it.
All right. Greetings and blessings again, everyone. I am LaVonne A. Weaver, the Chief Encouragement Officer of Live Vibrantly. And it's truly my honor to be here this evening. And as Karen said, I call myself the Chief Encouragement Officer. And really, ever since the age of 5, I have always been creating. And I've always been one of those kids, like when I was a child, I always wanted to create little solutions, whether I made a card that made someone feel better, or I took a bunch of pieces of construction paper, put them in an envelope and said, here, pull one each day. So I've always been in tune with just helping people to feel better. And what I've learned in my life is the simple things that we do each day, because everyone is worthy and every person that I meet, I believe they add value to life. So, no matter what the experience is, I always look for ways to see what beauty can I discover. So, and that's the message that I share everywhere I go. I don't look for the problem. I look for all the possibilities. And I often say that I love to turn challenges into works of art.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful. You know, when I hear you say that, all I'm thinking of is your profession and the area that you're in. It is certainly in need of that philosophy. It is certainly in need of someone like you bringing that to the table. Share that with us.
As an educator, I've been in the field of education for over 25 years. And as we know, the past few years it's always been challenging, but the past few years have really been a different kind of challenge.
Hmm.
And just one of the things that I've noticed that over the past 2 years, really just working to motivate and keep teachers encouraged. Because, we are essential people, we are essential workers, and our job, I always say teachers are angels in disguise because, raising the youth and and taking care of our children. So, one of the things that I just try to do is just be a light everywhere I go, even if it's just taking a moment to put a kind message on a teacher's desk, or if I just feel that a teacher may need someone to talk to, just taking that moment and just sharing affirmations, words of encouragement, even just sharing journaling tips. But these are small things that we can do each day that really lift someone's spirit.
How does this affect the students? Something observable you can share with us.
When you feel, I believe that when a teacher feels good and the person that's in front of them feels great, that energy comes out. And one of the things I love to do is I love even just walking into a class, just doing a day of affirmations, and
Mm,
I teach the students to, let's say an affirmation, let's write this affirmation down, let's put it in our pocket, let's become these words. And when kids see that, they just get so excited. I had a kid run up to me the other day, said, "I still have that word in my pocket," and that word was "I am," the greatest. And so when kids feel really, really good, it really boosts their energy, and then they want to learn,
mm,
especially when the teacher feels well. So helping our educators to feel well, to feel empowered. They share that energy and that message with the kids, and the kids know it. The children know it.
mm. That is so true. I was looking at ways you just mentioned the affirmation, ways that we can do that. I know for myself, where I live, for instance, I like the light.
Yes,
I like sunlight. I don't care how beautiful the place is. If it's not where natural light comes in, it affects me, in a way that's not uplifting,
yes,
bright. And that's a small thing, so to speak, that one can bring to their space and feel better.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I also there's another thing I love too, and that's flowers and house
Yes.
plants. That also has an effect. Do they do things like that in school? Will they bring plants, or I know it's challenging to take care of things other than the students, but those are such small things that can make a difference.
Yes. Yes, they are, Karen. And one of the things that I always encourage teachers to do is to create a space just for yourself. And in that space for yourself, like you mentioned, the plants or the flowers, one of the things I always encourage the teachers to do is just create a board where you can keep positive affirmations. Because when you turn around in that space, you can fill that space with encouraging words. Another thing that I love to do on my breaks, and I encourage the teachers to do, play a little music, just some
Mm,
soft music while you're eating your lunch. Just kind of block out, even if you only have 10 minutes, just playing music
yeah.
and just listening to those words. And even if you're reading something inspirational, but even though we're at work, we can fill our environments with those positive things, whether that's a plant, some affirmations, some soft music, even beautiful pictures, because those things help you reset your mind. And then when you go back to greet the kids after lunch, you've been renewed and refreshed. And those are small things that we can do every day for ourselves.
I agree. Talk to us a little bit about the art and that creative side of you.
I have been creating, as I told you, since I was a kid. I really love the beauty that art brings, and really, all my work is really, I will say, inspired by God. Because really, when I started Live Vibrantly, I share the story that I started Live Vibrantly on my worst day. And really starting the business of art and just creating to share, really, I will say, was not my idea, but I went through a challenging experience. And as I sat down to pray about the experience, I'm thinking, God's going to fix this right now. He's going to give me what I want. And he comes back to me and he says, go create. And I'm thinking, But what kind of solution is that? Because that's not the answer I wanted to hear. But what he did was that he encouraged me to just use the gifts that I had to create. And he said, and when you start to create, not only are you going to feel better, you're going to encourage other people. So he told me take the challenges, write them down, turn them into works of art. And so for the past 5 years, I've been writing the affirmations and just turning any challenge into work of art and just being able to share that message with everyone I meet. So I am very passionate about the words that we speak, the energy that they hold, and just the power to change people's lives with a kind word.
Share with us some of the artwork itself that your creativity inspires, because
Well,
it's beautiful.
thank you so much. As you see, I don't know if you can see it, I create beautiful affirmation t shirts and I take those words and I put them on shirts. And I believe that every space that we enter, we are adding value. And even if you're not a very talkative person, just having a t shirt that says I am is having a whole conversation and just changing the energy in the room. The other thing that I'm really excited about, I have been creating journals for women. And I love creating the journals because it gives women an opportunity to just have a place to capture their thoughts. And as an educator, I take my journal to work with me and find space to just write each day. So I've been creating t-shirts, affirmations, mugs. The picture behind me, this box is a keepsake box that I tear the pieces of paper up and I put them back together. So I just create packages that really inspire women to just remember that every moment of their life is valuable and that every moment you always have a tool, an affirmation, a note card, a journal, breathing. You can always use those things to make yourself feel better. And then when you feel better, you get to share with everyone else.
Yes, yes. And you know, I'm recent to the journal world, and I was looking at one of the things you said with which I so agree, and that is the most important conversations are with yourself.
Amen.
And that's what that journal affords you, the opportunity to just have a conversation with self. It can be enlightening, it can be inspiring. In my case, it's all about self-awareness. So when I saw that and one in particular, notes to self journal,
Yes, yes.
that I love it. I absolutely love it.
This little brown one here. I don't know.
Okay, yes,
Yes,
yes. That is just I said, you know, I'm on that same street. I'm in that same lane
yes,
because you wake up with a thought, or during the course of your day you experience a thought. When they talk about the thousands of thoughts that run through our minds, you know, in a limited amount of time, half of them we forget because we don't write them down, and the journal affords you to do that. Now, I heard you say you take your journal with you. Very good. I do as well. I
yes.
do forget it sometimes. I'm not going to tell a tale. I do forget it, but you know, during the course of the day, you will have some downtime, be it a lot or a little. You'll have a moment here or there, and it's value in putting pen to paper. Go ahead. You want to say
Oh,
something?
no, I was just ready to say I absolutely agree. And those conversations that we have with ourselves, they are so valuable. They are just a message, just to even just say, I'm doing well, and putting that in your pocket and carrying it with you. But just having that journal a few minutes to write a few lines, it's a game changer. It really is.
The thing of it is, one, the power of words. Um, and I don't know that I always really understood, accepted, just realized how powerful words are. And that's why I was sharing something with you earlier, and I wanted to be careful how I said thus and so. And when you understand the power of words, it causes you to think before you speak, for instance. Uh, Tell me something about the women. You empower women. We're hoarders of a sense. We're hoarders of our own feelings because nurturing others and making sure this and that's together, you know, we hold our, a lot of us hold ours inside. We'll get to it later. Talk to us about empowering women in that way.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that we do. We are nurturers. We pour into everyone else. And we don't always make ourselves a priority. And that is one thing I'm just so passionate about is women taking that pause throughout the day, doing that breathing. And breathing is one of
Mhm.
the simplest things that we can do, but we often take it for granted because it happens naturally. But just taking that breath to reset our minds, to just change what we might say, to change those thoughts. And for me, I'm just really passionate about women investing that time, that quiet time, just to sit down, sit with yourself, even if it's a challenge, sitting down to say, hey, I had this challenge today, but what's the best three solutions? Hey, I need to take care of myself. What are three things that I can do right now? And we don't have to make it complicated.
Yes.
I'm really just in favor of women, even if you just start with 5 to 10 minutes a day, quiet time, just sitting with yourself. And even if the only words you say is, I love you, I love myself, I appreciate myself, and just say thank you. Just doing something like that consistently really not only changes how you see and feel about yourself, it starts to change how you move about in the world because sitting down saying those things and you start to expect good things to happen, you look for the good things. And that's really where self-care begins is with those conversations we have with ourselves and learning how to nurture ourselves and not waiting to the weekend, the pedicure, because things happen every day. So creating that space, I say moment by moment, to take a breath.
Yes, I saw that. Yes.
That
And
is
it's
respect.
true. It is really true. And the thing of it is, for us, it takes practice
Yes.
because a lot of us haven't embraced it in a consistent way. So it takes practice. We may do something special on our birthday. How often does that come?
Yeah, right.
Once a year, right? So it takes practice. The point of the matter is we're worthy of the practice.
Yes.
I We really can't talk about that, encourage that, promote that enough because of how we put ourselves off till later.
You are absolutely right. And it really and as we both have been sharing, it's really the simple things that even, you have a beautiful journal. Getting this journal as a treat and just say, each night I can write what I'm thankful for. I like to write what my wins are. And I keep a running list. So that's one of the things that ladies can do. Start on Monday and each day just write down a win or two or three. And what's interesting that by the end of the week, you're going to have a whole list of amazing things that happen to you that it outweighs the challenges. And that's self care because you start to feel good about yourself and you start to look at things differently. So, however, we can add in self care, but it's something we can do for ourselves every day that helps us to show up better and just
Yes.
be the best that we can be.
One of the things you just said was write a list of wins. And I was recently sharing with my coach that wins for me were always big things,
Mm,
or I'll just say bigger things. The little things I didn't look at as wins until I learned that it's those little things that propel you to the big things.
yes.
And so if I can acknowledge a win today, another win today and acknowledge a win tomorrow, it helps me grow. It keeps me moving. It keeps me motivated and accomplishing and learning. So that was something when I say recent, probably in the past 5 years, I begin to recognize, hey, small wins deserve some recognition. You acknowledge, and it does something. It really does. I think psychologically, physiologically, you feel different about, you feel you accomplished something.
You're absolutely right. And what's interesting, it shifts our mind because what happens is that the mind starts to expect wins and it starts seeking not to rehearse what's wrong, but your mind is like, hey, we forgot to win the day. And it becomes a part, I say the new normal, it becomes a part of the new normal. But what we also have to do is learn how to give ourselves some grace because it takes practice, but the more that we do it, the better we become. And I agree with you. Small wins, for me, it's making the bed. That's a win if I do that. I
Listen,
celebrate that.
I don't blame you. Let me just stop and say hello. We have family from Florida on here. Hi, Tara, Steve, and my AP, Judith, and my sister Sheila. How are you all? Thank you so much for joining us this evening. Um, you just said something that I think I kind of lost it, but something you said. Um, oh, I know. I just restarted hot yoga. I love it.
Okay.
So I used to go, and it's been about 3 years since I've gone. So I said I'm going to hot yoga because it's easier to move the bones, the body.
Yeah.
Even though there are a lot of the positions I am not yet able to do. But anyway, I had committed to going, and I was going 3 days a week. And then I got some kind of pull in my muscle in my leg, and it was difficult to maneuver and walk. And I began to fear getting down and maybe not being able to get back up. So I had to put hot yoga off, and I was, and I committed to doing it 3 days a week. And my accountability partner says, well, why are you beating yourself up about it? Which is exactly what I was doing because physically I could not endure the positions with this leg out of commission. And prior to her yanking my string, I was saying, oh, I was supposed to do this, just taking myself through unnecessary, whatever, havoc. And that's what you reminded me of when we were talking about recognizing the small wins and acknowledging them, and then beginning to expect to win. That is so very important, and such that I've experienced it.
Yeah.
So why have I been beating myself up over any little thing? Get that out the way. You don't need that. Expect those wins, and they will come.
I agree, Karen. And it's also about that awareness that, that learning to just stop ourselves when, hey, I did yoga for 4 months. I can celebrate that. And I still know the moves. And maybe when I feel great in my home, I can do one or two of them. And then asking yourself, if I'm unable to go to yoga, Lord, what other solutions or what other options do I have to move my body? So it's just being open that sometimes when even we have the challenge, that allows us the opportunity to create a new win. I love walking, but there's a small tear in my Achilles. So I'm saying, okay, Lord, well, what other exercise can I do? Everything else still works. So it's teaching and training yourself in those days that I won't say miss it. Give yourselves grace because what you're teaching yourself is challenges are going to come, but how am I going to respond? And that's what matters.
That is exactly what matters. And speaking of that, so yoga had to be put on the side, but I went downstairs to the gym and started walking every night on the treadmill. And that's something I always did. And I love walking. And guess what? The leg began to feel better. And I said, oh, so this is what I needed. I tell you. So let me just stop here, and I call it paying the bills. And I am just going to have a little commercial break. We'll be
Okay.
right back.
All right.
Where are you? Here you. Get your guide to boost your emotional intelligence today. Okay, my birthday is coming up and we are going to celebrate. My journal is going to be a great part of that. You all stay tuned for the details, but we're going to celebrate. It's a special birthday. People ask, is it a milestone? Every birthday is a milestone. In my mind, I mean, we're just blessed to be here. And after the year we had, and, the loss of those we know or just read about, the loss was tremendous. So, it's a blessing to be here, and I know I am grateful for sure. So tell me, is there anything else you'd like to share? I have some specific questions for you, um, just to help our audience in terms of we touched on a bit of it. That is setting up the positive space, the things, the small things that can be done to set up that positive space. Tell us about that.
I always say create space for positivity. And one of those things that I think that we can all do is just have a quiet moment with ourselves and think of maybe five, four to, even 3 to 5 things that you can do each day that invites positivity. So we talked about keeping affirming words in our environment and just putting those words in areas where every time we look up, we see that affirmation, even if your favorite phrase is I am the greatest. So one of the things in my home is that there are words all over. They're taped up with index cards, tape, because every space that I enter, I have a reminder that I am worthy and I am valuable. So I would say fill your areas with words that matter. The other thing that you can do is really taking that quiet space and that quiet time, allowing yourself permission. And as a teacher, I can say sometimes I may get a break, sometimes I may not. But even if I get a quiet 2 minutes, I'm going to sit down, listen to a little bit of music, redirect my mind. That's a way to fill your space. Also, we talked about adding things like beautiful art because having beautiful pictures around, that really motivates you. Seeing color on the wall, that really lifts your spirit and it just changes your whole pattern of thought. So having things like that, and things like even if you just have a water bottle, which is something simple, you can put the affirmation stickers on it. Especially if you're one of those people who don't like to drink water often, put in affirmation stickers, and every time you take a sip, you say, I am amazing. I am blessed. And just doing these things consistently throughout your day on a daily basis really changes your environment. It changes how you feel. And when people enter your space, they start to notice, hey, there's something different. I'm seeing all these beautiful words, I'm seeing affirmations. It smells nice in here. There's a plant, there's some light. All those things really affect our mood. And since we just moved into fall, it's a little darker, a little earlier. These things really, really make a difference. And the last thing, our conversations, not only the ones that we have with ourselves, but being mindful of the ones that we have with other people, sharing positivity, and being okay with just removing ourselves if a conversation is not positive. And the last little thing, a mirror. If you have a mirror in your purse, it's okay to open it up at lunchtime. Look at yourself and speak affirming words over yourself. These are small things that you can do to invite and create positivity.
I'm glad you mentioned all of those things. One of the things, speaking of mirror, I have written on my mirror and it's been there forever. And that is, I am enough.
Hmm.
And what I hope people take in the high value of these simple steps to take. Just imagine you go in a room and all you see are these positive things, um, I am beautiful. I am amazing. I am the greatest. And these I am statements sink down inside of you and reaffirm you.
Yes.
And that helps you. I mean, you walk out your door with a different step,
Yes.
The other thing about having all of that around, when someone enters that space, they're likely to think twice about perhaps unpleasant energy they may have come with. It could help it dissipate. So I really like that. I really like that. The other thing, for instance, when I journal, I don't necessarily have a specific time depending on that schedule, but I do morning and I do night. I try mostly to do morning, but I like to be comfortable. I like to, if the room is cool, have a throw. I like to have my tea, and then I write all my secrets or or whatever, but it's like your time
Yes.
and it's pleasant and it's nice. And the thing I like to tell everybody, if you really, really commit to journaling, it helps in your communication. It helps in your speaking. It helps in your writing. You learn things about yourself that have a positive effect on those you engage with. Would you agree?
I absolutely agree. And I would encourage every woman to have a journal. And there are no rules, even if you just say 5 minutes. And what's going to happen is that 5 minutes, and then you're going to want 10, and then you're just going to increase that time. But that writing really rewires the brain. And that's what writing does for us. And just taking those simple moments that, even if you don't know what to say, how about just writing a love letter to yourself?
Yes.
That's,
Yes.
yes.
There is absolutely nothing wrong with that. And of course, by putting a journal out, I was inspired to do journaling tips. And so I do 1 minute journaling tips, and that's purposeful because first I want to convey the message that it doesn't take a lot of time. Whatever time you have, it could be a minute, it could be 5 minutes, and that's a good way to start. And as you said, there's no correct way. Any way you choose to do it is correct. That's the other beautiful thing
Yeah.
about the journal. And if you so desire to share these with someone you know and trust, it's all up to you.
Yes. Yes. And you know what, Miss Karen, if I could share one more tip, that for ladies who are starting a journal, sometimes I'll just pick a word and use that word to guide my journaling every week. One word I chose was the word see. And I would take that word and just say, I am seeing myself differently. And that would be my journaling. I see great things. So every day I would spend a minute, and then I wanted to each every break, okay, 3 times a day, I want to write what I see. And just going back and reading it, just simply picking a word and just having that word come alive in your life is a great way to start journaling.
Excellent tip. Excellent tip. So let me just ask any of our guests, thanks for joining us this evening. If you have any questions for this Chief Encouragement Officer, how many CEOs do you know as powerful and influential as the Chief Encouragement Officer? That is so good. Does your colleagues in the workplace know that title that you carry?
I think they have seen it on social media, and I don't always say it in the building, but the teachers that I'm around, they always say, I like your energy, or I knew you had something good to say. That's why I came to you. you know,
Excellent.
yes,
Excellent. So your reputation precedes you.
yes,
Excellent. Excellent.
yes, yes.
Well, I know it has been a joy and a pleasure having you. You are welcome anytime. And if you would if you would like to put your social media information, I think you could type it in there. That would be just fine. I know you're on Instagram and Facebook, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And folks can see all that beautiful, inspirational, positive artwork and other artifacts there. They're simply beautiful. I have been at events where Levon was vending, and she always have a beautiful array of absolute positive material. T-shirts. You had a little case, a little, what was that? I remember that.
That was my keepsake
Yes.
affirmation box. And
Yes.
that's funny. That was the first item that I made when I started Live Vibrantly. And that was the box that I'll say that when I had my prayer with God and I said, I don't like what this person said to me. He said, well, you write them all out. I wrote out the statements. Then he said, write the opposite and put them in a box. That's how that box came about.
Okay.
And that's what I do. So it's a keepsake box of positive words. And I always apologize to people who brought the first ones. I said, it may be a little smear because I may have cried in that box, but it's really authentic because it had some tears because I was making that box and I don't want to put these words. And and that's how it's grown. But I actually started with a box.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, you always have such a lovely display, and anything you put your eye on, you pick up, it's always something positive.
Thank you.
I
Thank you.
enjoy it. Well, I want to thank all of you who were here with us this evening. We really appreciate you. Let me just see here. Okay. And for those of you, I'm EA's in the C suite, and you can contact me at info at EA's in the C suite. Um, Contact me for your free consulting call. I would be glad to speak with you. Let's see what we have here. Oh, good. Okay. Thanks. That is excellent. And folks, you're going to love her stuff. I'll tell you that right now. It's just absolutely beautiful. Beautiful. Yes. So please, EA's in the C-suite.com. And if you put /shop, you can go and shop. And there is my journal there. And by the way, if you order the journal from my website, there's a gift that comes with it. It is also available on Amazon. So I once again thank you all for being here. It's been beautiful, just like our guests.
Oh, can I just say thank you, Karen,
Please.
and wish you a happy early birthday and just thank you for all the positivity and the joy. I felt like I've known you for years the first day I met you.
Thank
So,
you.
you.
Thank you so much. Ditto. And thank you all for joining us this evening. And so long until next week on Karen's Carrots. Have a wonderful rest of evening, Ms. Weaver.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
keep it positive as if you have any other way to do it.
Thank you.
Good night, all.
Good night, everyone.